Good evening, everyone. So, now we will start the second part of our lecture on Prameha. In the first part, we covered Nidana and Samprapti of Prameha, and in this part, we are going to cover Purvarupa, Rupa, and classification of this disease. So, let's start with Purvarupa of this disease. So, Purvarupa of Prameha, that is prodromal symptoms of Prameha, are mentioned as Dantadinam maladhyatvam pragrupam panipadayoho dahaschikanata trut svaduasyam cha jayate. We'll learn the meaning of each term first. Dantadinam maladhyatvam means excessive accumulation of waste in oral cavity. Panipadayoho dahaha means burning sensation in hands and feet. Trid means excessive thirst. Svaduasyam means uh, sweetness in the mouth. We have missed one term here, chikkanata dehe. That means stickiness in the body. So these are the prodromal symptoms of Prameha. We'll see how this each prodromal symptom is related to either diabetes or metabolic syndrome. The first prodromal symptom mentioned here is Dantadinam malagatvam, means there will be excessive accumulation of mala, waste in oral cavity. If we talk about the diabetes, then diabetes has a close relation with the condition within the oral cavity. Actually, it has an adverse effect on gums and periodontal tissues. And this is evident even before the diabetes is clinically evident. So this is actually a pre-diabetic stage and it happens due to a chronic state of hyperglycemia. No, it's actually related to the higher level of insulin resistance. We have studied the pathophysiology of type 2 diabetes mellitus, in which the insulin resistance is a main phenomena which is occurring to create the pathogenesis. So, this periodontal diseases are strongly related to high level of insulin resistance. And we all know that insulin resistance precedes type 2 diabetes mellitus. So, this can be considered as a pre-diabetic condition. Second prodromal symptom is pani padayoho daha, means burning sensation in hands and feet. This is an important feature of diabetic neuropathy. The pathophysiology of the diabetic neuropathy is unclear, but it can be either due to diffuse microangiopathies or it may be due to accumulation of fructose and sorbitol, which leads to myoinositol deficiency, and this myoinositol deficiency leads to excessive permeability of sodium into the neural tissue. Now, this excessive permeability of sodium to the neural tissue leads to uh, neural dysfunction. This is the reason the person feels burning sensation and numbness in hands and feet. So this is related to complication of diabetes, that is complication of hyperglycemia, that is diabetic neuropathy. The third symptom which is mentioned here is chikkanata dehe, means stickiness in the body. We have also learned that Approximately 90% of the patients of type 2 diabetes are either overweight or obese. And excessive sweating is actually as a consequence of obesity. So this excessive sweating causes stickiness in the body. Next is thirst, means excessive thirst. This is because of the disturbed glucose metabolism. This is actually a sign of dehydration which occurs due to osmotic diuresis as a result of hypoglycemia. Next is swaduasyam, means sweetness in the mouth. This indicates a presence of glucose in salivary secretions. This also occurs in pre-diabetic conditions. Far before the diabetes is diagnosed clinically, glucose starts being released in salivary secretions. This is the reason patient feels sweetness in the mouth. So these are the main prodromal symptoms which are related to prameha, and if we correlate, then this actually indicates the pre-diabetic condition. These are some more prodromal symptoms which are mentioned by Acharya Charak in Charak Nidanstan 4th chapter. Jatili bhavam kesheshu means matting of hair. Madhuryam asyasya means sweet taste in the mouth. We already studied it. Karapadayoho suptata daho, numbness and burning sensation in hands and feet, which indicates diabetic neuropathy. Mukhatalu kantasosham and pipasa means dryness in the mouth, palate and throat, and excessive thirst. These are the symptoms of dehydration which occurs due to osmotic diuresis as a result of hyperglycemia. So this is actually due to disturbed glucose metabolism. Next is alasya, and the last, if you can see, is nidram tandram cha sarvakalam iti. Here the patient feels lazy. The person doesn't feel like doing anything. He feels like sleepy and continuous drowsiness. So this is because the decreased peripheral utilization of the glucose due to insulin resistance. All of you know, if you can remember the pathophysiology of type 2 diabetes mellitus, then insulin resistance leads to decreased peripheral utilization of glucose, and the peripheral tissues don't get enough amount of glucose to use it as a fuel for energy. So the person feels lack of energy, and as a result of which person feels laziness and excessive sleepy and continuous drowsiness. Next is malanchakaye, increased amount of bodily waste excretion from the body sweat hose. This is again a complication of obesity only, which is a precursor or major risk factor for type 2 diabetes mellitus. Kayachidreshu chaupadeham, adherence of bodily waste to the orifices of the body like ear, nose, body pores, etc. Paridaham suptata changeshu, again a sign of peripheral neuropathy. Burning sensation and numbness in various parts of the body. Shatpada pipilika bischa sharira mutravi saranam means attraction of ants to the body as well as to the urine. This actually indicates the condition of glycosuria, glucose being starts excreting into the urine. This is the reason ants are getting attracted towards the urine. Mutrecha mutra doshan, appearance of turbidity or other abnormalities in the urine. Visram cha sharira gandham, smell of raw flesh in the urine. So this is with the Purva Rupa of Prameha. Next is Samanya Lakshan. Samanyam Lakshanam Tesham Prabhuta Mutrata. Dosha Dushya Avisheshe Api Tat Sanyoga Visheshatah Mutra Varnadi Bhedena Bhede Bhedo Meheshu Kalpyate. The first line mentions the pratyatma lakshan of this disease. That is prabhuta avila mutrata. Prabhuta means excessive and avila means turbid. Means the person passes urine which is excessive in quantity and turbid in nature. The next two line explains dosha dushya avisheshyapi. Though there is involvement of 3 doshas and 10 doshyas are common with pathophysiology of prameha. But tat sanyoga viseshata, but due to their specific permutation and combination, mutra varnadi bhedena. This specific permutation and combination gives specific characteristics to the urine, and based on this specific urinary characteristics, the 20 types of prameha has been classified. Let me repeat once again. Here the question is, though three involvement of 3 doshas and 10 doshas are common in the pathophysiology, then how come these 20 types of prameha can get manifested? So here the answer they give is that sanyoga visheshatah, though the involvement is common, but their sanyoga, their combination is specific, is in different quantity, this different with different permutation and combination, they get united, they get vitiated, and according to this, they give specific characteristics to the urine, and on the basis of this different characteristics of the urine, bhedo meheshu kalpyate, means different types of prameha have been described. So now let's start with the classification of this disease. Four types of classification have been described. First is etiological classification. Second is doshic classification. Third is constitutional classification, and fourth is prognostic classification. So first we'll learn the etiologic classification. According to the etiological classification which has been given by Acharya Sushruta, he has described 2 types of prameha, Sahaj prameha and Apathya Nimittash prameha. Here the word Sahaja indicates genetic predisposition. So here genetic predisposition is the main thing which is involved in pathophysiology of this type of prameha. And second is Apatya Nimittach prameha, in which this word indicates Apatya Nimittach, the importance of role of Apatya Ahara and Vihara, importance of improper dietary habits and lifestyle which leads to pathophysiology of this disease. Again, this Apatya Nimittach prameha is divided into 2 parts, that is Santarpan Nimittach prameha and Dhatu Kshayjanya prameha. Now let's see how this role of apatya is indicated in this both type of prameha. In sahaja prameha, that is genetic predisposition. So what happens? Either the shukra dosh or artav dosh, means there is a defect either in ovum or in sperm. So due to this defect in bija, due to bija dosha, which is again this bija dosha is also due to dietary indiscrimination followed by your parents or grandparents. So it leads to defect in ovum and sperm, and along with that, along with bija dosha, the apatya sevan by mother during intrauterine development of fetus, that also contributes to the pre-diabetic condition of the offspring. Actually, here role of apatya is at 2 stage by following dietary and lifestyle indiscretions by parents or grandparents which lead to defects in ovum and sperm. So, due to this bija dosha and along with that, following dietary indiscretion by mother during intrauterine development of fetus, that adds to the uh, pathophysiology of sahaja prameha. So what will happen? This type of person will be given the complete set of body which we have learned in Samprapti of this disease, in which there is Bahu Drava Sleshma, Bahu Abadha Meda, and um, Khavaigunya in Medovahasrotas. They are given this complete set of body in heritage by their parents or grandparents. So these persons are um, born in pre-diabetic stage. So in such type of persons, the role of apatya starts hereafter. And if we talk about apatya nimitta prameha, then there can be two possibilities. Either these people can be with positive family history and or they can be with negative family history. If they are with positive family history of prameha, then they are given this complete set of body which is susceptible to develop disease prameha in heritage. And if the family history is negative, then they are blessed. They are not given such a susceptible body in heritage. So in them, the role of apatya starts right from the beginning, right from making the body susceptible for this disease. If we see the second classification, that is constitutional classification, which is on the basis of constitution of the patient. So there are some patients who are obese in constitution and some are asthenic by constitution. So according to the constitution, the line of treatment differs. So Acharya Charak has given this classification, that is Stula Pramehi and Krisha Pramehi. Next is prognostic classification, in which the prameha has been classified on the basis of its prognosis. Some types of prameha are sadhya, like kapach prameha are sadhya, means it's, it's curable. Some are yapya, means palliative. Pittach prameha have been categorized as yapya because the person remains, the prameha remains manageable until the patient continues to take medicine. And the third is asadhya, means incurable. So Vatash prameha have been described as asadhya, means incurable. And now this is the doshic classification of the prameha. So there are total 20 types of prameha on the basis of different doshas. Kafash prameha are of 10 types, Pittash prameha are of 6 types, and Vatash prameha 4 types. So in our next lecture, we are going to study these 20 types of prameha, which I have already told you that these types are being classified on the basis of specific urinary characteristics of the urine. Specific characteristics of the urine. So we'll meet in the next lecture, next part of this lecture, and in which we'll study the doshic classification, means 20 types of prameha, along with their correlation, complication of prameha, and at last prognosis of this disease. So let's take a break. We are meeting soon with the third part of this lecture. Thank you.